Hello, everybody. Chris Hamilton here with salestipaday.com. And thanks for joining. Just looking off to the side here, just getting prepped up on trying to get the broadcast going here in a sec. I'm having some internet problems today. I don't know why. It's I don't live in an area that has bad internet, but I'm having a tough time connecting on one of my other computers to look at the chat that's going to show up. So anyways, we're going to get started here in about 1 minute. And first of all, I appreciate everyone taking the time out to come to this event. And I run these monthly. After this event is done, you will be on an email thread where I'm actually put you into get a LinkedIn course for sale. What it is it's a $199 course that I offer up for free for anyone that sits through and attends this. You'll learn a ton of stuff like how to use LinkedIn to prospect, how to find more qualified sales leads, how to book more meetings. A whole bunch of things are probably of interest to you. So that's relevant. Obviously, I'm wearing my Seattle Seahawks hat. There we go. Go Seahawks. I'm also in my office, which also works as my workout room as well. So you can see there's a weight bench behind me. There's a treadmill behind me. It's my little man cave and all that good stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my presentation here. So just bear with me for a sec, and you should see it come up on screen here really quickly. And there we are. It should be on. So it's on right now. So I'm going to get started on this presentation here today. So hopefully, if you have any questions, make sure that you text me at 403-630-1243. That's if you're in North America. I don't know if I can get texts outside of North America. As I say, I'm trying to get my internet working on my other MacBook here to be able to see the questions that may come in off the chat. And there we go. So the other thing too is that if you end up with, if it becomes a little bit pixelated and stuff like that, once again, I'm just going to preface out there that it's, my internet's acting wonky today. I have no idea why, but it is. So all you got to do is just refresh or just bear with me, and it should clear up ultimately here as well. So there we go. So here's a scoop. The agenda, I'm going to go through 10 plus tactics and over 90 slides on a whole bunch of tips and tricks as it relates to LinkedIn, especially as it relates to social selling. You're going to walk away with a ton of info, and I'm going to give you a special offer at the end that will help you be way more efficient on the LinkedIn. So there we go. So once again, if you got questions, you can text me at 403-630-1243 in North America, and I will be watching my phone diligently here for anyone that texts in on that one. You can use the chat box. Ultimately, when I've got the other computer up and running here, I will go check that for any of the chats that come in. So first thing I say is, what proof do I have that I should be talking to people about LinkedIn, and specifically as it relates to, say, social selling? And I'll get into social selling in a couple of seconds here as well. One of the main things that you can look at is if you go into LinkedIn, LinkedIn has a social selling dashboard. So what they do is they look at your profile, they look at what you're doing, and they rank you out of 100 on your ability for social selling. So I've got a 91 out of 100 as I took a screenshot here. Mine varies. It's between kind of 88 and 92 on any given day. If you look in the upper right-hand corner, it shows you my industry social selling index rank against people that I compete against, and also people in my network. And the way the social selling index is ranked by LinkedIn is through 4 different pillars. And you see these pillars down here. So it might be a little bit of Hubble vision. You can't see it, but it says establish your professional brand, find the right people, engage with insight, and build build relationships. So they take a look at kind of what you're doing specifically as it relates to LinkedIn and give you a ranking against that. So I'll get into these in a couple of minutes here just to give you an idea, and I'll show you where to find out your social selling index ranking. Here's something that I find kind of killer is when I click on, or when I go down that page, the social selling index page, it shows me who I rank against in my industry and also my network. My network, I'm not necessarily concerned about. It's more people in my industry. So I'm a sales professional in the marketing and advertising industry. And you would think that people in the marketing and advertising industry would probably be all over using social media or leveraging tools to help them out, but apparently not. The average person on LinkedIn has that's in my niche, has a ranking of 22 out of 100. So it's pretty frickin' dismal. My ranking is 4 times greater than the people in my industry. So that's why I'm in the top 1% of people. Now, if you take a look at people, I'm in the top 1% for profile views among professionals like myself, as it's related in LinkedIn. And I'm also in the top 3% of profile views against my connections. And I wish I was in the top 1%, but I've got some really heavy hitters that are on LinkedIn that I'm connected to, like a lot of #1 best-selling authors that I've interviewed in the past for my blog, Sales Tip a Day, and stuff like that, and people that have connected with me. So, they get a lot of views. A lot of people are trying to search them online. So anyways, hey, I'll take the top 3%. That's a good thing. So one of the things that I'm going to go into here is I'm going to talk about buyer profiles and seller profiles. I'm going to hit some stats so that you can have an understanding of what people are looking for. And so on the buyer side of things, here's some interesting stuff. 49% of buyers research vendors through their LinkedIn profiles. Now, 50% of these buyers will avoid sales professionals with incomplete profiles. So think about this for a sec. Literally almost half of the buyers that are looking for a product or service that you serve, are going on LinkedIn and looking for people like you to purchase from. If you don't have a complete profile, that means a picture and it's vetted out and stuff. And I'll go into a few things in a little bit on this. 50% of them are going to avoid you. So nothing like getting rid of 50% of your potential sales opportunities right off the bat on LinkedIn. 44% of social buyers use shared connections to find potential vendors. So what does that mean to you? So here's the scoop is, if you leverage LinkedIn, if you're putting content out on a regular basis, if you let people know what you do, you know what? Buyers go out to their network and say, do you know someone who does this? And you will come top of mind, which then is then pushed over to that buyer so that you end up getting engaged in that sales conversation. I'm going to skip down the page a little bit here. So, this stat, it comes directly from LinkedIn. It's a report that was done via LinkedIn and also through IBM. And by the way, all this information here comes straight from LinkedIn. The average cold call appointment rate is 2.5%. In fact, I've got a stat that I use that is from Baylor University has cold calling gone dead, and they show that the actual success rate is 0.5%. So it's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting better results, right? Cold calling doesn't work. Not only that, it's freaking stressful. It's, nothing like going to work every day and being stressed out. There's easier ways to do it, and I'll show you a couple of things as well. The other way, the one way you could do is leverage referrals through LinkedIn. So this increases your sales success odds by increasing it 2 to 4 times higher, right? So huge opportunities to leverage your network to get introductions and stop cold calling. Just to give you an example, I'm just going to go a little bit off script here. I own an accounts payable software company. I have used LinkedIn exclusively to market that company or get in front of qualified sales leads. And it takes me 10 minutes to 20 minutes a day to set up a full pipeline of sales opportunities. Now, I'll give you an idea on this is my current pipeline is about $3.8 million for this company. and we'll probably close about half of those deals. They were all brought in by LinkedIn. 95% of them probably brought in by LinkedIn. And the other side to this is I sell a product that averages about $10 a sale. So I have this whole methodology and process. So long story short is I'm geared up for a very successful year this year based on leveraging LinkedIn. Now I'm back on script here. So one of the things that you need to look at is decision makers, especially in the B2B world. Decision makers begin their buying process with a referral. So 84% of these business decision makers. Now, couple that with the fact that by asking for referrals or getting referrals, you're 2 to 4 times more likely to get opportunities. So hopefully the thing that you're getting here is that referrals work and you figure out how to leverage them. And LinkedIn's a great way to do this stuff. So more buyers are using the internet and specifically LinkedIn to find solutions. So first of all, if you don't have a complete profile, you're not actively engaged, you're missing out on huge opportunities. So that's the buying side. Let me talk about the selling side, people you're competing against, not only in your own company or maybe in your industry. So you got to take a look at it. So HubSpot, which is a great little marketing company based out of the Boston area, has a couple of ways that they describe social selling. I like the second one. Social selling is when salespeople use social media to interact directly with their prospects. That could be LinkedIn, could be Facebook, could be Instagram, could be anything. Any of those platforms that are out there. So some of the stats as it relates to social selling, once again, these come directly from LinkedIn, numerous reports that LinkedIn's put together. The top social sellers in organizations have 45% more opportunities per quarter and are 51% more likely to make quota. So if you're leveraging LinkedIn, and using a methodology and a process, then you're going to get more opportunities and you're going to make quota more often. Going to skip down here a little bit. Sellers who reach out to prospects with relevant insights about their business, and that's the client's business, are nearly 5 times more likely to get a response than sellers that reach out cold. So think about this way. If you're on LinkedIn, if you're posting information, if you have a bunch of prospects that are in there and you're sending them information that might be of interest to them, 5 times greater opportunity to get in the door with them. I'm going to use the last stat here too. So almost 73% of salespeople using social selling as part of their sales process outperform their sales peers and exceed quota 23% more often. So I'm going to give you an example or talk to you about this a little bit, is that by leveraging social selling. So first of all, less stressful, no cold calling, a whole bunch of different things like that. You're outperforming your peers and you're going to exceed your quota. So what happens when you exceed quota? You make more money. You hit those accelerators. You get to go to President's Club. It's just so much better. One stat I do not have on here, by the way, is that to go from sales rep to VP of sales, LinkedIn had some information I correlated against this. And to go from just a regular sales reps to a VP of sales in a company, you can get there like 42% quicker by leveraging social selling as well. So salespeople that use LinkedIn and other social media platforms are more likely to exceed quota and make more money. So I'm going back to this social selling dashboard. I've talked about the buyers, I've talked about the sellers, talked about this a little bit. One of the neat things about the social selling dashboard is the fact that you can look at little pieces of information. So they have these 4 pillars of the social selling index. And if you want to see what your number is and everything, how you rank, go to linkedin.com/sales/SSI. Click on each one of these and it pops up with a little slideshare presentation that you click through, seven pages. About 4 of them will go through and give you tips on how to establish your professional brand. They go through each of the pillars and tell you little things that you can do to increase your professional brand, find the right people, engage with insight, and build better relationships with connections. Literally, it is unbelievable. So I just got a thing. What specific recommendations do you have on how to increase responses of emails? Good question. I'm segueing into a new segment. So I'm going to talk to you about getting your in-mails opened up. So in case anyone doesn't know what an in-mail is, an in-mail comes with a premium account I have a Business Plus account, so I get 15 of these a month. And what it allows me to do is I can reach out to my second level or third level connections. So second level connections are people that I'm not directly connected to, but someone I am connected to on LinkedIn is connected to. Third level is someone that is connected to a second level connection that's then ultimately connected to a third or a first level connection. I don't go after third level connections, just too tough to go after. So if you want to get your in-mails opened up, here's the scoop. First thing you need to do, catchy, create a catchy subject line, something that's going to get them going. Secondly, create a email that is short, sweet, and to the point, and shows a massive benefit to this person. And you know what? Here's a stat that I saw. And if you want to get, you don't necessarily get your in-mails read, but here is what you do. Follow up with a phone call to this person. So what I would do, even though that seems like cold calling, it's a warm call because you've already sent them some information. And you phone that person and you follow up with them and you say, hey, I sent you a piece of information the other day. I sent you an email through LinkedIn. Don't know if you got it or not. It's about how to, in this case, let's look at my accounts payable company. It shows you how to reduce your accounts payable processing time by upwards of 80%, making you more profitable. I was hoping to line up a meeting with you. What day and time would you have available, right? Just by doing that little bit. So do those little things. And then on top of it, follow up with a phone call. Because I'll tell you what, I don't even find in-mails that successful. It's when you actually make that extra phone call into people is when that engagement starts to happen. And that's when you start, you can start that sales cycle. So that's what I do. Hopefully that'll answer your question. I think is it Ken? Oh yeah. So Ken, I'm looking at my phone. I was looking at my iWatch or whatever they call that thing to tell. But let's see. What specific recommendations do you have on how to increase the social selling index of finding the right people? So I'll get into that in a little bit here, Ken, to talk about that sort of stuff as well. So there we go. So social selling isn't something you do now in the future. It's part of the here and now. It's really what your competitors are doing. It's what your coworkers are doing. You really, I don't know if you know the crossing the chasm, but there's early adopters and there's, bleeders, early adopters, whatever it is, and then it goes into laggards. You could be one of those early adopters that gets into this and beats out the competition, a lot of this stuff. So this ultimately 2, 3, 4 years from now, this is going to be the vast majority of how people are selling. So one of the things I'm going to talk about when I get into this is I'm going to talk about the premium account. Ken, good to hear from you as well. I'm going to talk about the premium account on LinkedIn. One of the stats that LinkedIn has is 18% of LinkedIn users have a premium account. Flip it around, 82% don't have a premium account. I always recommend, if you're in sales, get a premium account. It costs me $60 Canadian a month. So I'm up in Canada. US might be $40, $45 for a Business Plus account. Some of the major benefits are, and I'll get into this in a sec here, is seeing who's looked at your profile. And I'll tell you why this is important. So first of all, when someone looks at your profile, they found you for a reason. And on a free account, you only get to see the last 4 people, I believe, that looked at your profile. On my on my Business Plus account, what I've got is I get to see the last 90 days of people that looked at my profile. Now, here's the other trick that I do is that when someone looks at my profile, I have an assistant in the Philippines that manages a lot of this stuff for me. So Christine, my assistant, will reach out to these people and say, hey, I see you looked at my profile. Wonder if there's anything that I can help you with. If so, more than happy to jump on a phone call. In the meantime, why don't we connect on LinkedIn? And then I click connect, and I probably get anywhere between 20 and 30% of those people actually connecting with me on LinkedIn. Ken was just asking about the in messages. So it gives me the ability to reach out to 15 people a month on the account that I have that I'm not connected to. They also roll those for 3 months. So if you don't use them in a 3-month period, you end up building up about 45 of these on a monthly basis. Each one of these, if you were to buy them, if you have a free account, costs $11. So literally just that alone will give you like almost a 270% return on investment just by getting a premium account. I have introductions. I don't like introductions the way they use it through LinkedIn, so I don't know why I've even got that arrow there. In fact, in the future, I'm going to get rid of that. So there we go. The premium search capabilities, this is actually going away in the next few months. They're going to kind of absorb some of the premium search functionality. So LinkedIn changes a bunch of things, but in the interim, I can look at company sizes, I can look at different groups, I can look at a whole bunch of different things and get more, further refined results on LinkedIn. Profile searches. This is huge, especially as it relates to LinkedIn. So with my account, I actually get to see 1,000 people. So LinkedIn's changed my amount that I see since I did this slide. On a free account, you only get to see 100, the first 100 people that show up. And then at some point in time in the month, LinkedIn also will look at your account and say, hey, you've hit your maximum of search results for the month. You need to switch to a premium account. And I don't know what that number is. I've never seen a defined number on that, but I'm going to guess it's probably around 2,000, 3,000 searches. So that'd be 20, 30 searches a month, maybe less. I could be less than that, right? So people that have a free or premium account can keep searching all month long without getting basically kicked off the system, and they get more search results. So think about this. Let's say you're searching for the same thing, a chiropractor in Calgary, and you get to see the first 100 results. Guess what? Someone with a premium account, I know there's probably around 400 in Calgary, get to see an additional 300 people that you don't get to see. Everyone with a free account are going after those 100 that show up. People with a premium account, guess what? They can go after the 300 that you guys aren't even. 82% of the of LinkedIn aren't even touching as well. The other thing that they do is save searches. So save searches on LinkedIn. If you set up a search, so you go into this advanced up here, set up a parameter or a way you like to search things, you can save it. And with save search results on a free account, you get 3. I get 7. Up here, you get 10 to 15, and you also get to see these results daily. Why is this important? When you set up a search result, so let's say you're looking for a controller in the oil and gas energy in Calgary is your target demographic. And let's say someone has changed a new position. So they've gone to a new company. Why this is important is that they're going to make that profile change. And you'll get alerted to this person has started a new job at a specific company. My buddy Craig Elias, who wrote the book Shift Selling, has this stat that people who start a new position within the first 3 months are 10 times more likely to change a service or a product that they're using to make an impact on their organization. So that is the ideal time. So here's LinkedIn sending you results saying, hey, this person's in a controller position in a new company, and then what you do is you figure out a way that you can get in to see this person and start the sales cycle off that stuff as well. So there's a great opportunity of how to do that stuff. So premium, if you want to get a premium account, go to your picture in the upper right-hand corner. If you don't have a picture, I suggest get a picture on. If you have a free account, you just click on the second thing down or you click upgrade. And I believe if you haven't had a premium account for 13 months, they will give you the ability to use LinkedIn for 30 days for free. Now, here's the thing. There's a Business Plus account. There's a Sales Navigator account. You know what? I haven't used Sales Navigator in a while. I'm not a big fan of it. Wasn't a big fan of it before. Where it does work is if you're in a big corporation, it can help you out. If you want, give it a try because it's 30 days for free. And see if it works for you, see if it doesn't work for you, and just go from there. So take a boo around the system and see if it'll help. So there, I've talked about profiles. I've talked about social selling. I've talked about premium account. I'm going to go into building out a profile. So what happens is I highly recommend get a premium account. It gives you way more opportunities. And you know what? If you can't make back the $40 to $60 a month just by using LinkedIn to create some more golden opportunities for you, then you know what, you shouldn't even be on LinkedIn. So that's one thing. So we talk about premium account. Now I'm going to talk to you about building out your profile. Why do you want to build out your profile? Well, first of all, your profile it's your billboard. When people come to LinkedIn, so I gave you that stat earlier, 49% of people are going to LinkedIn to try to find a product or service. 50% of those people will automatically discount you if you don't have a complete profile. So that means, no picture, a whole bunch of different things. I'm going to go into some of this information right now, just so that you can see what I'm talking about. And by the way, the profile is all about selling yourself and what you offer and how you set yourself apart. It's not a resume. So unless you're looking for a job, then don't write it like a resume. Make sure you write it based on what the prospect wants and how you can fulfill their requirements and what he needs and wants as well. So here's like 11 profile tips. And I have a webinar. Actually, I don't have a webinar. If you go to my website and look up LinkedIn profile tips, I did 11 LinkedIn profile tips for financial advisors, but it's relevant for anybody because it actually plays right across all industries as well. Hold on, Ken, I see you sent me another one. What can you do to reduce the notice that you're in danger of having to include an email with intros? You know what? That's happened to me right now. I've got that. Just back off for a while. That's what I've noticed. And the other thing too is when you put in a notice or when you're asking people to connect, Ken, don't use the standard LinkedIn thing like I want to connect with you. Say, hey, I came across your profile. We fit in the same target demographic. We play in the same industry. Would love to connect with you on LinkedIn, and click. And that's how you would reduce that ability. So anyways, now back to profile tips. First of all, the tagline or your headline, provide a benefit to your target audience. Picture, obviously, if you include a picture, you increase your profile views actually by 11 times. Once again, I talked to people, 50% of buyers avoid a profile without a picture. Add your website and your social profiles. If you can, SlideShare, go to slideshare.net. It's like a whole bunch of PowerPoint presentations that are up there. If you haven't seen it, it's owned by LinkedIn. You can put presentations up there and put them into your profile. You can put videos, YouTube, Vimeo profiles or videos into your profile. Change your LinkedIn link that you have. Make sure you personalize it. And I'll get into a few of these in a couple of minutes here. Add an industry. Make sure you're in your target industry. It increases your views by 15-fold. So for example, I always say that if someone sells construction software, don't put yourself in the software industry. Put yourself in the construction industry, because if some people start searching construction software, then you're going to get found better than if you're in the software industry as well. Your education, by adding information on education, you increase your profile views by 10-fold. And your keywords in your summary, put specific keywords as it relates to you. So I'm like in sales and marketing. So I have sales and marketing in my city, Calgary, in my summary, and make sure it's more than 40 words to get indexed in LinkedIn. And last but not least is skills. There's a skills section which allow people to endorse you. Just by adding them gets you 13 times more views. And I'm going to give you an example on that. So once again, my accounts payable software, I look for people that are QuickBooks Pro advisors or work on QuickBooks because our software ties into that. And when I do searches against QuickBooks on LinkedIn, I get to people's profiles. I have no idea where this person has any QuickBooks experience or anything like that. And then what I do is when you do a search on their page, it shows up in their skills section. So even though it's not listed anywhere in any of their past work experience or in their summary, it does show up in the skills section. And that's how you get found. So 13 times more views. So think about this, just by, add an industry, add skills, and put your picture in, you're going to increase the amount of times that you get seen compared to people that don't do this sort of stuff by upwards of 15 times more views. So once again, I'm just going to go through some of the highlights just on this stuff. Once again, put your picture in there. There's my ugly mug. The next thing that you want to do is this is your headline. So in most cases, what happens is LinkedIn takes your most current job and puts that title in there. Go in and change it. What I use is the market I serve, what I do, and then a call to action. So the SMB, so small and medium business marketing resource that'll help you generate up to 10 times more sales leads. Ask me how. So put something in there with a strong call to action, get in touch with me type thing. There's my industry that I play in as well. Here's where you get into your email. Make sure you add your email And here's something I would definitely recommend to you is put 2 emails in. Put your, if you're working for a corporation, put your corporate email in, but also get a personal email in there. You can set your corporate email as your primary one. The reason being is because I did some training with a financial firm here recently, and there was about 20 people in there. At least 3 of them had started a new job with this company, and they could not access their old account because they used their work email as their primary email with no backups, and they couldn't remember their password, so they couldn't reset their password. So once you do that, you're kind of shit out of luck. You can't do it. So put an alternate email in there so that there's a way for you to reset your password and everything like that as well. Here's your social profiles you can add in here. By the way, this bottom one, daily sales and marketing tips, when you click on that, it takes you to a landing page that allows people to put their names and emails in to get my 25 most must-have sales and marketing tips. So what happens is someone's looking at my profile, they click on that, then they can actually get on my email list and I start marketing to them. Pretty smart, eh? You can tell I'm Canadian because I said eh. Here's your LinkedIn profile. There, when it comes up, it's alphanumeric in a lot of cases, but when you click on your profile, there's a little pencil. You click on that, change the name. So I've got Chris Hamilton, CA. CA is to denote for Canada because someone who already is on LinkedIn, another Chris Hamilton, took the Chris Hamilton, so I couldn't get it. So anyways, put it in here so it's short and easy to remember. Last but not least, get to 500 plus connections very quickly. If you're lower than 500, you don't have much of a social network. If you're higher than 500, they don't show you. So you could have 501 connections on here and people would have no idea. They could think that you have thousands of connections that you're connected to. I would recommend that. See another thing, another text message came in. What specific suggestions do you have on how you can get business contacts information from people from LinkedIn? Okay. If you're not connected to people, the only way you can do it is just go through, run a search and go look at their profile. And then you have to do some hunting off the web. Your immediate connections on LinkedIn, which I always say is your low hanging fruit, is you can actually download your LinkedIn connections, your first level LinkedIn connections. Once again, if you want to see how to do that, I'm not going to get into it in the presentation because it takes too long. Go to my website and look up something like in the search bar, download LinkedIn connections, and it'll walk you through that process as well. So there you go. Sorry, my throat. I just got to take a quick drink of coffee here. There we go. Adding video and slides to your profile. Let's see here. The profiles in your summary or in your work experience, you can add slides and videos. So here's what I've done. In my summary, I just put stuff that as it relates to sales and marketing. In my profiles, I add information on specific things as it relates to that piece of information. How you do this is on your summary, your profile, when you're in the edit mode, there's a little box. It looks like a square with a plus symbol. When you click on that, it says add media. So you can add a document, a photo, a link, a video, or a presentation. Here's my recommendation. I don't know if I put it in there. Nope. I'll give you a recommendation. Okay. I would, if you have clients that rave about you, go out with your iPhone or your Android or whatever it is and videotape them and say, can you give me a testimonial right now? Videotape them and then add that video to your profile. So if you're a realtor working in Sarasota, you know what? Go see one of your clients and get them to give you a recommendation. And then with that recommendation, then post it up in your profile and then just put recommendation from or whatever as a title on this thing. And people will click on that. And you know what? I guarantee you, go look at your competition. No one is doing that. So it's a great opportunity to outshine your clients. Same thing. You know what? If you got recommendations, put them on a presentation and add them in LinkedIn as well. I'm going to give you a quick tidbit of information. So adding a profile picture will increase your profile views by, I think it was 11 times. I put 13 in here. I'm going to actually change that on the fly here. Here's something you do. Go to PhotoFeeler, photofeeler.com. And what you do is you set up an account. You can get a free account. You have to look at 10 people's profiles as it relates to LinkedIn. You vote on how they're looking, or based on competence, likability, and influentialness. And then what happens is once you've voted for 10 people vote on yours. So it tells you, does your photo reflect what you're trying to convey? So apparently, when you look at mine, my competence level is at 93, my influential level is at 87, my likability is at 41. So people think I'm a douche, I guess, or something like that. Sorry for my blunt words, but that's just the way I am. I can tell why. It's because I'm not smiling. It looks like I'm just squinting and looking into the camera, but that was the best picture I could find of myself. I'm a pretty homely chap, so so that was one of the best pictures I could find of myself. So great way to do it. So there you go. Hold on. I see I got another text probably from Ken here. Photo Feeler. Yes, photofeeler.com. It's up there, is what you do. The other thing too that I want you to do as I talk about your profile is LinkedIn will walk you through building out your profile so you can see what your profile strength is. So if you go into the upper right-hand corner, it gives you your profile strength. It goes from beginner all the way up to all-star. Doesn't take much to get up to all-star, but your goal is to gun up to all-star. What I tell people is just jump on LinkedIn, 5 minutes a day, 2 minutes, 3 minutes a day over a month, and you'll go from beginner to all-star very quickly. The other thing too is that what LinkedIn will do is down below your picture, it'll start giving you recommendations. Have you volunteered? What work experience do you have? Do you have any publications? Blah, 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 all this stuff. And it prompts you to fill things out. So it's a great way to boost it up. One of the other things I just want to let you know, and it's not as relevant nowadays, but what's happening is there's a button there that says notify your network. And if it's slid to yes, every time you change something on your profile. So if you add one little word in your profile and you haven't changed a job or anything like that, it will start notifying people saying, hey, he's got a new position, something like that, right? Slide this to no, so you stop aggravating people and you save your friendships as well. A couple other tips I'm going to go into is if you do not have the time to build out your LinkedIn profile, you can put like bulletin stuff up and then go to something like upwork.com and hire a freelance person to write your profile for you and beef it up for you as well. It doesn't take much. You can probably do that for like $20, $30 or something like that. There's a lot of freelance copywriters that are sitting out there looking for work, and it's a great way to do it. One last tip on this stuff. I'm going to talk about this. So LinkedIn right now they have their mobile version. So they got the iPad, or the iPad version. They also have a mobile version for Android and iPhone. This is a view of LinkedIn's growth or visitors in the mobile market. So what you see is it's going way, 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 way up here. This is the latest stat I had, was Q3 from 2015, so just a little over a year ago. 55 million visitors on 101 million visitors. They come via a mobile device. 55% of all the unique visitors on LinkedIn are on a mobile device. 31% increase from the same time frame a year earlier. So by the Q3 of last year, my guesstimates would be that about 72 million of the 105 million unique visitors to LinkedIn on a quarterly basis are coming via a mobile device. Why is this important? Is your desktop profile and your mobile profile are completely, they look different, but they pull information in from the same place. So in this case, you pull your title in, you pull your line in here, you pull in your connections here. But what I found is on your summary, the first line gets pulled in and put at the bottom here. So LinkedIn, if you haven't included your email or your phone number on LinkedIn, then it's really tough for people to get a hold of you, and they may just bypass you completely. So 55%, so I'm guessing about 70% of the people are accessing LinkedIn, looking for people like you for products and services. What you can do, put your first line, put it up here, call me at, and put your email me at, and it gets drawn into here. So it's basically front and foremost. If someone wants to reach you, there we go. My other recommendation would be that if you go into LinkedIn, make sure you add your phone number, make sure you add your email in there. because then it will show up in your profile, and make sure that they're public so that people can access them and get a hold of you. So there we go. So that's that part of this. Now I'm going to get into some advanced search tips and tricks, and then ultimately I'm going to show you how to actually go find people on LinkedIn and how to approach them. And I'm going to show you with a process that is so freaking unbelievable and will generate a ton of leads for you without ever having to pick up that phone and make a cold call again, which hopefully that's what people are looking for. So we got advanced search tips and tricks. So here's something. A lot of people just go and put their information right in this search bar up here and look for somebody. And that's it's a shitty way to do stuff. What you should do is hit this advanced search button up here, link up here, and it brings up the advanced people search. It gives you a whole bunch of options that you can use. So I don't know if you've seen this or not. A lot of people really don't even know that this exists. But some of the things it'll give you keywords, it'll give you areas that you can hone in on, relationships, industries are in. If you have a premium account, you can start getting company sizes and a whole bunch of different things, right? So there's 5 things you got to know just in this little section up here. Using the advanced search and the reason why you want to do this is it's going to find better results for you, and it's going to take less time to search. And not only that, remember, 82% of people have a free account. They probably have no idea how to do this. In fact, the vast majority of people that have a premium account have no clue how to do this as well. This is going to find you way better sales opportunities or prospects to go after on LinkedIn. So what you want to do, first one is there's kind of 5 LinkedIn Search Ninja tips that you need to know. Quotes is the first one. That's for an exact phrase. So if you go down here, it says vice president. If you put in vice president without quotations around it, what it does is LinkedIn goes out and starts to bring back vice chairman, vice counsel, vice presidents. It'll bring back presidents, co-presidents, retired, anything that has those 2 words in it, it brings it back. So it's bringing back a lot of garbage for you. By putting the brackets around those, it's saying, hey, I only want to see where this title is in a current or past position, where it says vice president. And that exact title. So that's the first one that you need to look at. Next one is putting the brackets around things. So this is what it does. It combines terms and modifiers. And I'll get into modifiers in a sec. Modifiers are and, or, and not. And so in this case, I want to look up someone that's a vice president and has the title sales and marketing. So I want vice president, sales and marketing. Sales or marketing, sorry. So I've got a modifier here and I've got a modifier here. So and's a modifier, or is a modifier. Just bear with me. I'll get to those in a second. So this will bring back better results. Here's the modifiers, and or not. They have to be in uppercase in order for it to work in LinkedIn. The and modifier brings 2 search terms together that need to be included. So for example, vice president, sales and marketing. That's where I want to see those type of names, right? The or will broaden your search. So in some cases, people use VP instead of vice president. So it says VP or, and then in quotation, sales and marketing. So I want a vice president, sales and marketing, or VP sales and marketing. So let me give you an example. One of the times I was searching for vice president, sales and marketing in Calgary, just the way it's listed up here. And it brought back 35 results. Now, these results that come back in LinkedIn, they change on a daily basis because people change their profiles, but I only got like 35 results. When I put in or VP sales and marketing, it brought back almost 2,200 results in Calgary. So think about this. I would have missed out on almost 2,164 potential people that I could be targeting as sales leads. So just by adding these modifiers in and putting this stuff, I'm getting back way more results. Think about the people, even if someone who I compete against in Calgary looked this up, they would only get 35. They'd be like, there's only 35 people I could find on LinkedIn. They'd give up after that probably, or start searching and keep searching. What I'd look at is say, hey, holy shit, I got like 2,200 people I can go after. This is awesome. I can keep going after them. So this person would probably give up. I would just keep going and plowing through all those ones as well. Here's the not modifier. It's when you want to exclude a specific term. So I want to see only a vice president of sales. I don't want marketing in there as well. So it just starts to exclude stuff, right? So when you use the advanced search, click on this button up here, start to put your relationships in, just basically fill out all the information that you want in here as it relates to what you're specifically looking for. And then when you get your results back, it's far better results. So in this case, I was looking for first, second level connections in Calgary in the young oil and gas professionals group. It's brought back a whole bunch of people. These first 3 people that you see up here are their first level connections, but let's pretend they're second level connections. One of the stats that LinkedIn has is that if you cite a group, a common LinkedIn group, you get a 70% sales rep have a 70% more likely chance of getting an appointment from a cold connection request or someone to accept their connection request if you cite that group. So there's another way that you can increase your odds of people accepting your request. This doesn't exist anymore. I can't find it on LinkedIn. Or on the internet anymore. But if you go to my website, salestipaday.com, and type in LinkedIn search tips or LinkedIn Boolean search tips, I think I've got it loaded up in there. Otherwise, if you just go to LinkedIn and type in, or go to Google and type in LinkedIn Boolean search tips, so BOOLEAN search tips, they've got a couple of great blog articles on LinkedIn that'll walk you through this and take you through it. And there's probably videos on that sort of stuff too. You can also go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/sales tip a day, and look up LinkedIn search. And I've got some videos up there on that sort of stuff. So now we've gone through, we've taken a look at a whole bunch of different things, showed you how to build out your profile, showed you how to search for specific people. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into, how do you leverage this information and kick ass when it comes to social selling? So here's the first one, approaching your first level connection. So when you search on first level connections, so what are first level connections? Those are people that you're directly connected to on LinkedIn. So for example, Dave Kirpin here is a buddy of mine. He's a first level connection. I'm connected directly to him. And first level connections are what I call low hanging fruit. They are the easiest people to go after on LinkedIn for a okay. So Ken, give me a sec here. I got to get through this, and then I'll answer your question. This is low hanging fruit. These are the easiest people to go after on LinkedIn. I have a tip. You should always be strengthening your first level connections, anyone that you're connected to. So I've got like 3,200 connections on LinkedIn. I use a platform called Contactually where I'm reaching out to my LinkedIn connections on a consistent basis, trying to see how I can help them or anything that I can do for them, strengthening those relationships so that when I need referrals and introductions into people, it will, that's what will happen. So always be strengthening these connections. That's what I say. So here's how you go after your first level connection. So once again, hit this advanced search, hit relationship first level, pick the location, fill all this stuff out. I'm looking for vice president of sales and marketing. I click search and it brings back results. I got 25 results, people that I'm connected to, they're VPs of sales or sales and marketing or whatever it is that I'm trying to connect with. Once again, this is low hanging fruit. These are people I'm connected to on LinkedIn. Even if I don't know them that well, like Paul here, I don't really know that well. I've connected with him a couple of times on LinkedIn. I can reach out and go, hey, Paul, you and I are connected on LinkedIn. We've been connected for a while. My company does this. It helps companies like yours with this sort of thing. I was hoping I could line up a meeting. Also, the other thing too, I'd love to find out more about what you do so that I can understand that if any opportunities come my way, I can send them your way. That's how you get in the door with these first level connections. Here's, and once again, this is a letter I use. Basically, hope all is well. Here's my company. Here's a product or service with some benefits. I've got some documents here or some brochures, or here's our company website. You got time for a quick call to jump on this? Or if it doesn't fall in your world, can you point me in the right direction? Please let me know if you have time for a call. If you want, we can grab coffee next week. I'll be downtown, blah, 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 whatever days. It'd also be nice to know what you have or what you're doing so I can help you out as well. So once you do that, then people will start reaching out to you as well. So that's an amazing thing. Now, here's where this is the power of LinkedIn, right? So this is social selling in a nutshell. So when I look at my first level connections, I have 25 first level connections that fit a certain parameter. When I go into LinkedIn search, I've got almost 2,000 that are second level connections. So literally what this does is it increases the amount of people I can go after by upwards of 78-fold. And, if I want to, I could also increase the geographical territory to understand if there's more people in there as well. This is where social selling starts to come into effect. So if you want to see what social selling is in a nutshell, this section, pay attention and listen. Now, before we do that, Ken asked me another question. Let me look at it. Go back to mobile. Using mobile device, I can easily personalize my invitations to connect. I can't seem to. Sorry, I got to look at this. So bear with me, people, as I go through this. I can't seem to do it when I use LinkedIn on my I can't seem to do it. Let's see. Using the mobile device, I can easily personalize my invitations to connect. I can't seem to do it when I use LinkedIn on my computer. Any suggestions? Actually, you can. When you hit that connect button, it pulls up a box. There's a box down below, and you just put in the person's name and any personalized information in there, Ken. So that's how you do that. So now back to the LinkedIn social selling. This, like I say, is social selling in a nutshell. So this is approaching your second level connections. So here's what you do. Hit that advanced search again, hit second level connections, hit all the information that you want. Then what you do is you hit search and it brings back results. So in this case, I actually got 114 results, not the 1,966 or whatever it was on the other slide. If I run this another time, it may come back with way more. It might come back with less. It's weird. LinkedIn does that stuff, but just bear with me on this stuff. Let's say I want to reach out to this Gary Lee. She's VP of Sales and Marketing at M Private Residence. Never met him. What I do is I would click on Gary's profile, or I can click on down here, and it says 16 shared connections. You can't really see that, but if you click on 16 shared connections, it brings up 3 people that I could potentially reach out to. So I could reach out to Jason, Randy, and Cam to see if I can get a connection. Let's pretend I'm not really connected that well with these people. Then what I can do is click view all 16 shared, and it brings up a page, and that page will bring up all the people that I'm connected to that I could potentially reach out and find a better way to get in the door to this person. Now, I'm going to put a caveat on this, or caveat, depending on what side of the border you're on. You know what? Your 16 relationships or your 16 connections may not be decent connections. The problem is some of your connections aren't very strong. So this comes back to my point is you should constantly be in touch with these people, building stronger relationships so that, you know, for example, if I build a stronger relationship with Jeff, I could leverage Jeff to get in to see this person. Same thing with Jody. Same thing over here with any of these people. Build better relationships and ask for the relation or the connections in. Here's what I use when it comes to this, the introduction. So what I do is I do not send this through LinkedIn's messaging service. I send this as a direct email to the person. What I do is I say, can you help me out as a subject line? Hope all is well. Hoping you can help me out. I see, you know, I've got this solution. Here's what it does in this marketplace. It helps companies by doing this. I see that you're connected to this person. Can you introduce them to me? If so, here is a blurb you can use. Introduction to Chris Hamilton as a subject line, email body. Hey, a friend of mine reached out to see if I could introduce the two of you. His name's Chris Hamilton, known him for a while. He helps companies reduce costs, increase revenues, whatever it is with his product or service. He tells me that companies are typically increasing revenue by X or reducing cost by X. He was hoping to get introduced to you. I wanted to check with you first before connecting the two of you. Do you mind if I connect the two of you? Regards, And then I put something, just a few lines down that says, hey, let me know if you don't mind doing this. I can tell you more about the process and the product or whatever it is and stuff like that. So the reason why I do this, first of all, put it onto an email thread. People will look at their emails. They don't necessarily look at their LinkedIn messages. So it'll increase the opportunities that you get or the opens that you get on this. Second, by doing this, I have asked someone to make an introduction, and I've dumbed it right down for them to be able to copy, paste, and send it out to them. So it'll get done a lot more. Ken, you're going to have to hold on here for a sec, but I gotta get through some of these through this presentation here, buddy. Long story short is the uptake that I get from this is roughly 40% of the people I reach out to will send the introduction email out. Of those, about 50% of the people that I reach out to or that they reach out to will end up in a phone conversation, an email conversation, or a phone, email, or face-to-face meeting with me as well. So my success rate is roughly 20%. And if you look at the success rate of cold calling that I sourced earlier is anywhere between kind of 0.5 to 2.5%. Literally, my success rate by getting introductions into people is up to 40 times greater. Now, not only that, these people are pre-qualified. getting in the door because they're saying, hey, you know what? This is kind of interest to me. Let's talk, right? So that's the other side of this. The other side of this is that referrals close at upwards of 2 times greater than normal sales. So I'm getting easier sales leads, I'm getting more sales leads, and they're closing at double the rate. The leverage on this is through the frickin' roof. And it's incredible what happens. So here's what I'm going to tell you. I've only had 4 people reach out to me in the last month, 5 actually now, in the last 12 months to ask me for an introduction. Not only that, so 5 people on my 3,500 connections on LinkedIn is just a little bit over 0.1%. So 99.9% of LinkedIn users are not using this, yet it is the fastest and easiest way to book better qualified meetings and ramp up your sales. This is how social selling works. This is how the one thing that if you take away from this presentation, this is what's going to get you more business. Why does it work? Once again, typical sales close at 25%, referrals at 50%. Referrals convert at 3 to 5 times better. Look at this. 65% of all new business is from referrals, yet only 11% of salespeople ask for referrals. Do the math on that, and I have. The 11% going after 65% of sales are getting 15 times more qualified sales leads compared to their counterparts. And not only that, they're accessing 93.6% higher or more sales leads than their counterparts just by doing this sort of stuff. So now I've showed you that. I'm going to show you my process, what I do. This is going to go very quickly. We've been here about an hour. I'm going to go very quickly. Hopefully this information is valuable. Now, Ken, I'm going to go back to your question. So Ken, I can't read your complete message here, so I got to go in. Okay, Ken, to answer your question. So do I send emails directly to my connections? Yes. Do I send them through Messenger? Yes. Now, here's why. If someone kind of knows who I am, I send it through my email. If they don't know who I am or I'm recently connected with them, I send it through Messenger. And the reason being is that at least they see that I'm connected to them on LinkedIn. And the other thing too is LinkedIn will actually kick off an email to your email account to say, hey, you got a message from Chris here as well. So it just depends. I do both, so it doesn't really matter, right? So here's my process. Here's my kick-ass process for finding potential clients and prospects on LinkedIn. First thing you need to do is step 1, create an avatar. Get your title, location, industry that you're going after. In this case, let's say I'm looking for a vice president of sales and marketing in Calgary in the oil and energy sector. Next, use that advanced search functionality that I talked about. We're going to go after these people. I get all these results coming in the door. Then what I want to do is I want to select the people that I want to approach, right? So I start going after figuring out who it is that I want to approach on LinkedIn. So for example, if I want to approach this Jay McNeil, who's Vice President of Sales and Marketing at Trinidad Drilling, I look at all these people here and I go, yep, I can't use any of these people to get in the door. I click on his 22 shared connections. Lo and behold, my buddy Jimmy Demas pops up as the first person. I can reach out to Jimmy any time of the day, and he is more than happy to make introductions for me as well. So I would go to Jimmy and ask him for that introduction into Jay. Now, here's the other thing too, is that when you're going out and finding these people that you want to approach, what you want to do is you want to add them to a spreadsheet. And in this case, I usually put a name, company title, what my connection level is, who I'm connected to, who I've asked for a referral, when did I send a message, any notes on this sort of stuff. So this is my process that I use. You can change it up if you want. I use this introduction letter to second level connection. So I ask my first level connection to introduce me to the second level connection. Then what I do is I start to track this stuff in the spreadsheet. So, I first sent it this day. What happened? Did we set up a meeting? Did we not do anything? I can see what my results looking like. So I can start fine tuning and understanding and start using my numbers to understand how many people I need to reach out to in order to make stuff work. Then what I do after I've gone through these processes is I make sure I go back to my list on a regular basis and look at things that I've done in the past that nothing ever came about from. So what I want to do, I see where the connections were made, right? So that's a good thing. So I've got a connection, see where it's made. If I sent something out to somebody, so for example, Sherry Sockeye here, who, I'd ask her for something. If I don't hear back from her, I'd just go back in 30, 60, 90 days and say, hey, Sherry, I asked you to introduce me to James. Wondering if you wouldn't mind doing it. Here's the email I originally sent. Here's what you can use, blah, 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 send it out, right? If Sherry doesn't do anything in like 2 to 3 weeks or anything like that, then you know what? Sherry may either not see it, or she might not have, or she may not feel comfortable doing that. Just won't let you know about it. So what you do, go figure out if you got another connection you can get it in on. And worst case scenario is try to use an in-mail or do a connection request directly with that person as well. So that's kind of the follow-up process. As I say, what I do is I usually go back through every 30, 60, 90 days. I take a look at what, on this list that I've created of people I'm prospecting to, who do I have to follow up with, when, and stuff like that. Because if you don't have anything like a tracking sheet or an Excel sheet for tracking, then the problem is you're not going to remember who you reached out to, what you did, or anything like that. So this just makes it that much easier and saves you time as well. Now, here's what I say. If you have if you make a connection with that second level connection and it's looking like it's warming up, then make sure you add that connection to your CRM system if you are using a CRM. And I highly recommend using a CRM just because of the fact that it will dramatically increase your capability to increase sales like 42%, I believe is the stats on it, right? Here's, how much time does it take? So this slide, I've changed it a little bit. I do things a little differently now. What I do is when I come up with a target demographic, I get my girl in the Philippines who works for me to build out a spreadsheet for me with all the people that are on that spreadsheet. Then what I do is I go through on a daily basis, kind of Monday through Friday, after she's built this spreadsheet out with her LinkedIn profile. I look at anywhere from 5 to 10 profiles and see who I can use to reach out to. And I send anywhere from kind of 3 to 5 requests on a daily basis. So if you think about it, over a week, I'm sending anywhere from kind of 15 to 25 potential requests over Monday through Fridays to get in the door. If I'm sending, say, 25 and I've got a 20% success rate, that means I'm engaging with 5 prospects on a monthly or on a weekly basis, 5 new prospects on a weekly basis, which is fine by me. It keeps my pipeline full. You may want to do more. You may not want to do more. But I'll tell you what, it only takes me up to 20 minutes a day to do this sort of stuff. Does it work? Absolutely. And I'm going to show you how and why it works. So this is a snapshot of Salesforce.com with a company that I was working with called Intralinks. That's me against 220 or so other salespeople. You can't really see my name in there, but that's my activity level. I sent 22 times more emails. I booked 10 times more meetings, and I got 30 times more WebExes than anyone else in my company. And I'll tell you what, I did this. So skip the emails. I was using MailChimp to send information out to my target demographic on a weekly basis with information that they would deem appropriate. And I tied it back into the system to track. But I'll tell you what, 10 times more meetings with qualified prospects compared to the people that I competed against, and 30 times more demos online of our platform compared to the people that I competed against. And I did it in LinkedIn. And you know what? I did it in half the time of what other people did. So it was far easier. So I got way more results in half the time just by doing that. So there we go. We've come to the end. I've done this in an hour. I'm shocked. I thought it was going to be longer than that. Tell you what, you want to listen to this just to understand my process and what I do. So one of the things I'm going to do in the near future here is I'm going to set up a training session on something I call the digital referral, which was a high level what I went over today, leveraging connections and stuff. There's way more to it, and it's systematized and processed, but it's a systematized process and system that I go through with people and teach them how to do it. I'm going to do a course coming up here probably in the next month. I'll get some information out. So if you're on my email list, you will see an offer coming out. I usually do this over a 4-week period for 2 hours each week, but I'm going to scale this thing down and do it in 2 hours and scale it down. And usually it's a couple $100. I'm going to reduce that price for people that want to attend. So that's That's just on the back burner for you to listen to. What I'm going to talk about today is I have a LinkedIn membership course or membership site that has like tons of hours of training on it. And what it includes some of my courses that I've put up on LinkedIn. So for example, this LinkedIn social selling course, my LinkedIn social selling playbook for sales manager, which is totally relevant and goes over different information compared to my social selling course. And even if you're not a sales manager, is awesome. I've got my 20 LinkedIn tips and tricks course that I go over, how to nurture LinkedIn connections. I've got multiple LinkedIn tips and trick videos that I throw up here on a regular basis. I've got webinar replays, and I put new content up on a monthly basis. All this stuff it's like 40 hours of content that's sitting out there in different segments on this membership course. What you're going to learn, you're going to learn tons of LinkedIn tips and tricks to land qualified sales meetings, and how to systematize a lot of this stuff and put it into a process as well. I'm going to show you some of the best ways to generate sales leads from LinkedIn. There's so many that I've got. I'm going to show you how to get found by your B2B buyers, what to do, how to engage with them, and also how to get 15 times more sales leads from qualified prospects, a whole bunch more. So obviously, I touched on some of this stuff today, gave you enough to be deadly. But if you want to be uber deadly, this is the way to go down to get more. You're going to get access to all my future courses, all my books, anything that I put out on LinkedIn, I put up on here on a monthly basis. Monthly, right now, this is priced at $39. It will go up. I'm thinking of moving it up to $49 here pretty quickly. And as more content comes on, it'll be up to eventually probably $99 or more. I've got it out. Anyone that sits through this webinar can get on for $99. What I am going to do is I'm going to send out an email after this course in the next couple hours, and it's going to have a link to this as well so that you can actually join. Right now, it's currently about $1,200. It's actually probably closer to about $1,500 of content that's sitting on the website right now, and I'm adding anywhere from kind of $100 to $200 or to $500 each month on this thing. If you can, leverage what I teach you in this portal, in this membership site, and get 10 qualified meetings a week. So I showed you how I get anywhere probably 5 to 10 on a weekly basis engagements. If you get 50% of them into a funnel and you close at 30%, it means you're getting 78 more sales a year, which could have a dramatic impact on your ability to earn more on more income as well. So this comes with a 30-day money back guarantee. So at any time in the first 30 days you're not satisfied, you just quit and you get your money back. And if you are a monthly subscriber, you can quit at any time. I also have my steal my content guarantee on this one. In fact, actually, if you join in the first 30 days, everything on here is downloadable. So you could actually download everything and you could walk away and take all my content. I guarantee you can steal my content if you want. I have no problem with that, because the reason being is it's so good, you'll come back for more. So there you go. Average rep here in Canada makes $30 an hour, sales rep. My monthly plan is $19 US, so it's probably roughly to 30. So basically, you got to work about an hour and each month, first hour in each month, and this is paid for as well. You want to find out more on this, I'm going to send an email out here in the next couple hours on this, but if you want to find out more, you can always reach out to me, chris@salestipaday.com. Or you can phone me in Canada here at 403-630-1243. If we're not connected on LinkedIn, try to connect with me on LinkedIn. There's my LinkedIn thing, or just look up Chris Hamilton Calgary and you will find me. And that is it. You know what I'm going to do right now? I am going to go on to the website because I could not get my other computer to display here. So I'm just going to go in really quick to my lead pages landing page that you're watching this on. By the way, if you lead pages is a great way to generate leads for your business. If you want to find out how, reach out to me and I'll teach you or talk to you about this. I'll probably do a course on this one of these days soon as well, that shows you how to set up a funnel and drive people towards specific things. LinkedIn social selling webcast. There we go. Oops. let's look at this. Sorry, I'm just checking the chat box to see if there are any questions. And just bear with me for a second here. If you have any questions, ask them down below, or you can text me. I don't think I haven't seen anything, any other texts come in from anybody. Once again, I'm sorry I'm coughing in here. I came down with a bit of a flu the last couple of days. I have to get on a plane right now. Would there be able to find them? So Bob, you're probably not here because you're already getting on a plane. But yes, I will. I'm going to send the replay out of this presentation so that you can see it. And once again, also we're going to have a I'm going to have an email come out. And the email, so after the fact, so all the people are still here. There's only 5 of you, I guess, online, but there's still actually more than that. It's just the 5 people that are on sitting on this right now. If you're on my email list, you signed up via the email to get on this course, I will get you into my 14-point course. It's got over 3.5 hours of killer LinkedIn information for free. It's a $199 course that I'm giving you for free just for sitting through this. If you do not see anything in the next 24 hours, it's because you found this course without being registered on it through the process that I use. Reach out to me, chris@salestipaday.com, and I will put you on the follow-up thread so that you end up receiving the information, the valuable information. So I'm going to say there's probably no more questions that have shown up here. If you do have any questions, reach out to me, chris@salestipaday.com, and I am more than happy to answer your questions and chat to you. If I don't answer my phone, leave me a message because I am extremely busy nowadays, doing a whole bunch of stuff, ramping up a software company. If you know anyone actually that it's a bookkeeper or an accountant that's looking to expedite their accounts payable process, let me know. Just because of the fact that I've got this software and we've got a commission structure and affiliate program around it that can earn you some money as well. That would be great. I would appreciate it. So there you go, digital referral in action. So anyways, appreciate it, everyone, for showing up, and you have yourself a stellar day, and keep selling, keep using LinkedIn, and there we go. Adios.